Well, it's 6 o'clock, time to begin. Welcome to Madison's Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, December the 9th, 2024. We have the roll call.
Scott Baldwin.
Here.
Mark Acosta.
Here.
Nancy Burkhart.
Here.
Rick Ferris.
Here.
Carl Eagle.
The minutes, we have 2 sets of minutes to approve. October minutes, we'll do it in 2 motions. October minutes, we were all here. Does anybody have any, board members have any additions or corrections to the October minutes?
No.
Take a motion to approve.
I move we approve as written.
Second.
Se-
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The November minutes, Mr. Eaglin was not here and hence will not be voting. Other board members, do you have any additions or corrections to the November minutes?
Nope.
No.
I move we approve November minutes as submitted.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. They're approved. We had 3 renewals, 2 of them. Glenaya Moore, 3607, well, that was a conditional use permit for a mobile home. And Super Shine, that's a company for vehicle detailing and whatnot. They have both paid their renewal fees, and therefore I move that we renew their conditional use permits.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, and they're renewed. The third one, Mike Anderson, 408, 418 Mulberry Street. That was a conditional use permit for a tattoo studio, as of our meeting paid his fees. Therefore, I move that we instruct our attorney to send him a letter indicating that he has not paid his fees. However, if he pays them by our next regular meeting, his conditional use permit will be renewed. And I also include in the motion to instruct the appropriate staff member to contact him and see if he's still in business. That's my motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It passes. We have 2 applications on the agenda tonight. The first one, BZVD-24-46, James and Suzanne Capps, requesting a variance from well, actually 2 variances. They're requesting a variance from development standards for setbacks from the south lot line and also for the width of their lot, which does not meet city requirements. Does somebody from Mr. or Mrs. Capps come up and address the board? And if this is not your home address, if you'd give your address for the record, please.
Yeah, Jim Capps, 1471 Hillbridge Road, Utica, Kentucky.
And could you explain your dilemma or what you want to do?
Well, first off, on the variance from the narrow lot, I think that's actually already been addressed back in 2023 when we acquired the lot and we came to you all and got a variance for 3 feet on the east, west, and 15 feet on the south property line. So I think we've already established that, unless...
Well, that would be a variance from setbacks.
Okay.
But your lot is about 36 feet wide.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be 40, so
Okay.
it is a bit of a different.
Okay.
And it's actually to your
And
benefit.
if that's fine. We didn't understand that we needed to do it again since we'd already established that when we purchased the lot originally.
And the other one, your dilemma is you're trying to keep, from what I read, you're trying to keep the front of your house in line with the other houses,
That is correct.
and that doesn't leave any room for the steps.
That is correct. Whenever I originally asked for the 15 foot on the south, I was not thinking about steps being an infringing. I was thinking foundation. And then in addition to that, I didn't realize that actually the city right-of-way is about 5 to 5.5 feet behind the sidewalk. It doesn't start at the sidewalk. So that was the other dilemma that caused this. So
It's something that we run into all the time downtown. So, a 19th century town. Board members, any questions, comments?
And you're planning on building a new structure on this lot if everything gets approved?
Yes. Yes, the next phase would be to go to the historic board and get their approval once we get this. One thing I do want to bring up, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. And originally, the original lot we purchased when we got the variance, it was originally 25 feet wide. Earlier this year, we came back to the city after we acquired an additional 10 feet. So now that lot it's actually exactly 35 feet wide. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and very transparent here.
Yeah, the minimum lot width for which your property zone is 40 feet wide, so that's why you need that variance for that one.
I do believe that somebody had you purchased that from somebody that was going to put a house there, 25-foot width. He
Yes.
just decided not to.
And then we actually, came back to the city and we did the amended plat. So those two tracks are now one track known as 1128 West 2nd Street.
And that would be yet another reason why you need the variance of lot width.
Okay.
Which, of course, goes on your deed and all that, recorded. Anybody, any other board members, anything?
So can we do both variances as one,
I think
or do you want to split it?
I'm gonna split it up.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Do you understand what we're doing there, that you're asking for two variances? Do you get that part?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. Yes.
I think for legal purposes, it'd be better if we did
Okay.
them separately. Any other comments, board members? Would
Nope.
anybody in the audience like to speak for or against this proposal? Well, you can have a seat, sir.
Thank you.
Board members, I've frequently said here that I think a variance is a big deal, but in this particular case, it's obviously not his fault that his lot is not wide enough. And as far as the setback from the south property line, that's almost like housekeeping in my view, because it's for a
Yeah.
stair.
Yeah.
And in addition, in my view, he's attempting to keep the neighborhood more unified by lining up the front of his house with other houses. So in light of, in this particular case, I'm just going to go through our three requirements and not ask you to make a statement, but just if you have any objections, just say so, and then we'll, if that's permissible with you board members.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The first, finding of fact, we'll make that about the lot width. That will be the first motion that I'll make, so we'll go through the finding of fact about the 36-foot lot width. So board members, criteria 1, injurious public health, safety, any objections?
No.
Criteria 2, use and value of the adjacent properties harmed, any objections?
No.
Number 3, practical difficulties, any objections?
Nope.
No.
Therefore, I move that we approve a variance for his lot to be 36 foot wide.
Excuse me, it's actually 35 feet.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'll change my motion then. I move that we approve the variance for a 35 foot wide lot.
Second.
We'll have a roll call.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Nancy Burkhart,
Yes.
Mark Acosta,
Yes.
Scott Baldwin,
Yes.
Carl Eagle.
And the second motion, this will be a 4-foot setback from the south property line. Therefore, I move that we approve a variance for 4-foot setback from the south property line.
Second.
And a roll call.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Nancy Burkhart,
Yes.
Mark Acosta,
Yes.
Scott Baldwin,
Yes.
Carl Eagle.
Sir, you have your variances. We wish you well.
Thank you. I do have one question. So we're
Yes.
still good on our 3-foot variances on the east and west. Is that correct? Thank you.
Moving on, the next item on the agenda, BZVD-24-47, Brent Bennett requesting a variance from developmental standards for setbacks, 300 Maple Hill Drive. And if somebody representing this could come up and say what you want.
I'm Megan Bennett. I reside with my husband at 300 Maple Hill. He is in San Antonio, Texas right now for work, so.
Fine. And it says you want a variance to place a pole frame type barn 5 foot from your east property line. And that happens to be in line with the fence that's already there.
Yes, sir.
And that's really the only thing you're interested in, as far as the variance.
Yes.
Have you ever, when you bought the property, was there a survey or anything that came with it?
There was, when we bought the property, they had surveyed it, and then there's stakes down in the ground. And right now the fence sits right at 5 feet from the easement.
And just to the east is a city easement.
Correct, yes. At the east of our lot is it's a decent sized lot that the city owns. It's kind of used as a cut through from like Ross to Maple Hill or right there at Hooten.
It was a street that never was.
Correct, yeah. We,
It's been Ross Street
Yeah,
yeah,
and go all the way through and do Green Road, if I remember correctly.
That's sure
Yes.
what it looks like.
and it's still very much so used as a cut through there. We get a lot of dog walkers and golf
Take my golf
carters.
cart
And
through there.
yes,
Yes,
yeah. So we're the house right there
I'm
next to it.
guilty. I'm guilty.
We enjoy it because we get to see a lot of people that we typically don't, so.
Well, I like the idea that you put in that you're gonna maintain it properly and it was going to remain as the easement cut through. But
Yeah.
That's being a good neighbor, I appreciate it.
We do. We seed it, we treat it, and my husband mows it and weed eats there year round. So there was some spots, of course, from dog walkers and golf carts, so we actually seeded it this past, it was right before summer. We seeded it and topsoiled and everything.
Yeah, all was real nice.
I'm personally glad you had a survey to go from, because I was a bit worried about accidentally giving you permission to build a barn on city property. That could have been a nightmare. Board members, any other questions, comments?
this is gonna be basically where you had a small shed.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, our fence, we're planning to, the way our fence goes now, and then the pole barn will just kind of take place of that fence, and then our fence will continue on exactly where everything is now.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Any other questions, comments, board members? I somehow don't think the audience is opposed to this. If you want to come up and say something, feel free. Okay. Well, then you can have a seat, ma'am.
Thank you.
This one, we will go through the three things. So this is a variance for placing a pole barn 5 feet from the east property line instead of 10. Number one, is this injurious to the public health, safety, morals, et cetera? Mr. Acosta.
No, I don't see it, in any way being injurious.
Mr. Ferris.
No, I don't either.
Mrs. Burkhart.
No, as we discussed, they're good neighbors by keeping the area clean.
Mr. Eaglin.
I see no problem with this.
I don't see any problem either. It abuts a road that never was, which is an easement. It's in line with a fence that's probably been there for years. I think that one's met. Number two, will this adversely affect the use and value of adjacent properties? Mr. Acosta.
No, should have a positive impact, be a new structure, new construction.
Mr. Ferris.
Yeah, I agree with those comments. I think the new construction will add something to the neighborhood instead of deter from it.
Mrs. Burkhart?
I agree with those comments.
Mr. Eaglin?
I agree.
We've had no testimony otherwise. I think that one's met. And number 3, the practical difficulties. What are they? Mr. Acosta?
I believe based on the size of the building they're gonna use, if they have to observe the full setback, they're gonna run into other existing, they mentioned a concrete slab and some other, stuff that's in your backyard as well.
Yeah, we've got if we move it over our concrete slab is kind of in that corner there
Mm-hmm.
that connects to our house. So we have to take up at least part of that or tear down their swing set.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Mr. Ferris?
Yeah, I just, I think the practical difficulty is the size and shape of their lot, and strict adherence would probably
Mrs.
prevent the deal.
Mrs. Burkhart?
I agree with his comment.
Mr. Eaglin?
I agree.
Practical difficulties? I think there is no issue there. That it's in line with a fence and a informally recognized boundary. Move it over 5 feet. And this case to me doesn't seem necessary per the zoning ordinance, so I think that one's met. Well, we have gone through our findings of fact. I move that we approve a variance to place a pole barn 5 feet from the east property line.
Second.
And a roll call.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Nancy Burkhart,
Yes.
Mark Acosta,
Yes.
Scott Baldwin,
Yes.
Carl Eagle.
Well, you have your variance, ma'am. The next 2 items on the agenda, BZCU-24-60 and BZVD-24-48, have requested to be tabled for various reasons. Therefore, I move that we table these 2 items till our next regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. They're tabled. Under old business, number 3, Leslie Jackson, 223 West First, she has paid, therefore, per previous motion, her conditional use is renewed. And the other 2, Lena Burns, a daycare, 124 Crestwood, Ellen Troutman, Event Center, short-term rental, 402 West Main, have not paid. Therefore, I move we instruct the attorney to send them a letter indicating their conditional use permits have expired. If they wish to continue in business, they will have to reapply. Third, however, if they pay their fee by our next regular meeting, they will be renewed. And number 4, I instruct the appropriate city staff member to contact them and see if they're still in business. That's my motion.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That one passes. So, that finishes our business unless I've omitted something. Therefore, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We're adjourned. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
24-minute meeting.
Cold beer in my hand, 4-7.